so confused.
My name is Frank Cho, and you're listening to Something Super Podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And guys, this week we're going to be talking about the second show in history, I think, to hit 1 billion hours on Netflix. If you couldn't tell by my shirt and these pop figures, Stranger Things.
Crashing Netflix.
Oh, it was phenomenal. I mean, honestly, I cannot speak highly enough about this. We're going to do an entire series breakdown, so we're not going to be able to touch a ton on each episode, but mostly like the finale, what we're looking for next season. And obviously, as always, guys, give us your opinions, thoughts, feelings, and everything else in the comments. So let's start, I guess, with the beginning of the series. Or sorry, the beginning of the season. We're back in Hawkins, right? But half the crew is in California now. So
or on their way to Russia.
Yes. So yeah, they're kind of everyone's like split up. We knew Hopper was coming back, or at least we speculated Hopper coming back.
And was now in the trailer.
Yeah, well, but I'm talking like end of last season. You know, you got the American at the Russian prison.
The American.
What I think is funny is that two things he's been in have been in Russian prisons, which is this and Black Widow.
Yeah.
And I found it funny that on the set of Black Widow, he was taking photos of the prison so he could send them to the Duffer Brothers, so there wasn't too much of an overlap. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. A big thing for him, because obviously that he was essentially in the same place twice in two different universes, and he was smart enough to say, like, I don't want there to be this comparison made between the two characters.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, sorry, off track for a second there, but back on to, you know, where we're at in Hawkins. We have most of the crew. You know, we're learning about the Hellfire Club. They're still playing D&D, which is awesome. They're now in high school, which I think is crazy. That was one of like the biggest points of contention, I guess, with the series so far was they look so much older. I mean, they are.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's been going on for, what, 6 years now?
Well, the guy that plays Steve is like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And he's playing an
18, 19-year-old kid?
19-year-old kid.
I'll give it to him. He looked good.
No, he fits the part, but I'm saying, like, they're all, like,
way older. I mean,
older than the age that they're portraying.
Oh, absolutely. And that's been, like, a big thing. Like, think back to Saved by the Bell. Like, those guys were all in their mid-20s.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Playing 17, 16-year-old kids. But, you know, to jump into the California aspect of it, we get a new character, Argyle, which he's awesome. He's hilarious. You know, comic relief type characters.
You know, it's actually funny. You know, when they're in California and they go to the pizza shop, the guy that works there is credited as Argyle 2.0.
That's awesome.
If you go back and watch the credits, it says Argyle, and I forget the actor's name, and then it says Argyle 2.0.
That's when they get the ice bucket thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they make the
chamber.
Sensory deprivation chamber.
Yes. So
I know stuff.
I really liked the series. You know, I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts, I guess is the easiest way to put it, for this series so far.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there's just so much going on. They have an insane amount of character growth and character building. We're learning about, like, number 1 now, so we know that Elle is number 11. And now we learned about who number 1 was. We learned a little bit more about her time there. I think the deep fake facial stuff was awesome.
Yeah.
It made her look, you know, exactly the way she did back in the day. Obviously, you could tell it was a fake, but I thought they did well with it. You know, it was very, like, Mandalorian-esque with the young Luke.
Very.
So give me your thoughts and opinions on it, man.
So, in case you guys can't tell by the title of this video, spoilers ahead.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it yet,
Check it out.
number 1, go watch it. I binged every single episode in a row.
I would watch it again.
I probably will end up watching it again, just to go back and kind of like slow it down and see what other like little hidden things I missed.
Sure.
But definitely the best season so far. Can't even argue that. There had its hiccups, like the whole storyline with the guidance counselor, like that just.
So you mentioned the guidance counselor and like his kind of role in the.
Her.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Her and her role. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I've watched so many goddamn shows recently. I was thinking the guidance counselor from the fuck was the other show that I was just watching? Oh, Miss Marvel.
Oh, I just started that, so
okay.
I'm on episode 1.
Oh no, see, I'm decently far into it. I think I'm on like 4.
I'll probably watch it all this weekend, but that'll be a future episode.
Yeah, please check that out when that show wraps up, unless it's already wrapped, in which case, be prepared for it in the near future. But, oh yeah, so when they went to her house and stole from her, right?
Yeah.
Like the files,
Max
okay.
went and stole the key to get into her office to open the cabinet with the files, and
Yeah,
then that's
so
where they made the connection. So, like, was that her whole story arc, or is there more?
I really do. I think it was just to make the connection between the 3 students that had issues.
Right.
And like, I don't know. I wish she played a bigger part in it because they could have made her role that much better or cooler, like had her interact with the kids more.
Like, is she like working with Vecna? Does she know one from before? Because, like, is it just coincidence that all 4 of the, I mean, I guess because he's targeting one town, so they're all in high school. Okay, that makes, I'm piecing it together out loud, and now it's making a more coherent story than what I was thinking. But either way, no, like I was saying, like, definitely the best season. I like the fact that they're tying, like, all the monsters together now and introducing new ones. They're putting shit right in front of our faces and we couldn't even see it. Number 1, Eddie's bat tattoo on his arm.
Yes.
Bat tattoo of a bunch of bats.
Yes, he does.
And then there was one of the posters. It's cut into like 4 parts, and each one it's like the 4 teams.
Okay.
So, and then on the middle it looks like a breach or like an opening.
Yeah.
So, which is how the season ends, is all 4 points converge and just totally pretty much fuck up that town.
Yeah. So that's one of the big things I really liked, that each season, like the bad guy, the villain, whatever, gets bigger. So you had like the Demogorgon, which again is a large, what Hopper describes as like a 9-foot white creature.
Right.
That had, the flaps on its face with the teeth. Okay, and then we go to like the Mind Flayer, which essentially is just like a ghost that only Will can see.
The demi-dogs.
Yeah, the demi-dogs, which are like baby Demogorgons.
No, I think it's a completely different...
I thought they were baby Demogorgons. I could be wrong. Guys, if you have the research, let us know. Please tell me I'm wrong. So then we go to the Mind Flayer, which is a giant creature because it's in Will's imagination. But then in season 3, they bring the Mind Flayer to life, and it's like a giant spider, like of meat.
Right.
It's crazy. And now we
have
have
like rats, right?
Yeah,
it was
and
like
now we have one.
Yeah. Who
So
apparently is controlling everything.
And I like the fact that he's essentially all of the Upside Down. So like he's tied to everything. So we went from like a Demogorgon, which is a 9-foot tall creature, to the entire Upside Down. And now the entire Upside Down is breaking into Hawkins. So we are seeing...
Is he connected to everything though? Because when they do the flashbacks, when he first lands, he's walking through like the wasteland part. There's already creatures there.
Correct. I think but his power, I believe, allowed him to connect to like the Earth, because he had all those like tentacles that went everywhere, all throughout the entire world down there.
So what I'm thinking though is, because in the real world, the Mind Flayer mist, they were like, it went into them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's using just that mist, and that mist is what's controlling them.
I mean, it's possible, but
so like without it, they would just be just like wild animals.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless of whatever his connection to the Upside Down is, he is essentially controlling whatever he's near, or as much as he can. They never really like dove into how big it is. We know it goes to Russia, and we know it's in Hawkins. So I don't know if there's other places in the world that it goes, or if like it's just a literal map of the world, but upside down. But yeah, I really liked the fact that, again, like you said, they alluded to a lot of things with Eddie. Like they alluded his bat death with the bat tattoos, and
best character on the season.
Easily the best character.
I really thought I was gonna hate him. Not even gonna lie. Like the first episode, like when he's at like the lunch table with like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, he's just like the psycho. I'm like, this dude's gonna get on my goddamn nerves. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, hey, he's kind of a cool guy. And I'm like, yeah, he's awesome. And I'm like, rock out, bro.
Honestly,
hence the Metallica.
Yes. So we all decided to tie a little bit into the Stranger Things series today. I was upset with his death, and I hope that they somehow find a way to bring him back in some regard. Not like back to life, but like reference him the next season, bring his...
I'm sure they'll reference like everybody because you saw everybody this season.
Yeah.
You saw Barbara. You saw like the 3 that he killed.
Yeah.
Like they referenced all of that.
Except Jason. Don't fucking bring Jason back. That guy was a prick. God damn. I was so happy when they fucking ripped him in half. He was such a douche. But I liked Lucas's... So Lucas was one of the most real characters this season for me because he was a nerd in middle school, went out for the basketball team and made it. I mean, he was a bench warmer, sure, but then he had the final game where
won the state championship.
he won the state championship with his final shot.
Yeah.
Huge. Like, that's every high school kid, if you're an athlete, that is your dream, to like make the winning touchdown or basket or goal or whatever it is, and you're the star of the goddamn show. And like, that's the coolest thing in the world. But he has to battle with the fact that he is also still a nerd at heart.
Yeah.
And his cool friends don't like his old friends. And he's got to like, you know, teeter-totter like back and forth. I mean, it's very High School Musical without the singing.
Can we just talk about how quick they turn into just a murderous mob?
Oh, absolutely. But
like, I understand it, but it was like hatchets and axes and machetes.
so
And-
two things to that point. I appreciate you bringing that up because as children, these guys are kids, right? They're 17, 16 years
Yeah,
old.
like they're high schoolers. Like
They don't understand the ramifications. Like, they were like ready to go. They don't really understand what would have happened. Like, God forbid they had got caught Eddie and killed him. Because when they eventually did catch him in the boat, like, they didn't really do much. They were just like ready to beat him up, and then they stopped and talked to him. But I think that because they were so young, that their minds weren't, again, not fully developed into the thought process of like, oh my god, like if I kill this person, I'm gonna go to jail.
right.
Also, they live in fucking Hawkins. This place is a shitstorm already. Like, Steve walked around with a fucking spiked baseball bat.
That's true.
Like, he's ready to beat ass. And Nancy is like fucking Annie Oakley shooting motherfuckers in the face. Like,
Yeah.
I live for Nancy with a gun.
Nancy, it cracks me up because her story arc stays like her character arc. Now her story arc gets better, but her character arc in every season's the same. She's like the innocent, cute little girl, slowly just gets more and more angry, and then just turns into a complete badass.
Oh, absolutely.
By the end of the season, she's toting guns and shotguns and.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the characters are very similar to that. Like Steve, in the first season, he was like the cool guy, you know, he was the star athlete, whatever. But after that, like his first transformation into like the quote unquote babysitter, he has been the fucking babysitter ever since. And this is the first time in 4 fucking seasons he didn't get the shit beat out of him. I mean, he got almost eaten alive by bats, but
His
no one
first
beat
time
his ass.
in the Upside Down, he got murked.
I know.
That's why he's the babysitter.
Exactly.
Both times he went.
Yeah.
Although the second time wasn't his fault.
No, that was the bats. The bats ate the fucking shit out of him. I feel bad for him too. Like, he was getting fucking literally eaten alive.
Also, I get that this is the 80s, but we're like, I mean, it's what, the Midwest, I guess?
Yeah,
Where it takes place?
Indiana.
Like, are the gunshots really that leisurely that, like, these kids that literally look like what's it called, sister, literally looks like she's, like, 12.
Yeah.
And she's carrying around, like, grenades. Like,
So I don't want to say that. I mean, if you're from Indiana, please let us know if you're this like cool with gun laws. I'm completely okay with that as like an avid gun.
I was like, okay, like Steve and them will go in, and like the older crowd will go in and get everything. And it was just like all of them went in, and like we're buying it. I'm like, they just came out with like grocery bags of weaponry.
Can we also just add, like, I understand Steve's family, like all their families are fairly well off. Like, none of them are like poor, I guess, except like Max's family. But they just have money for, like, as an adult, like, I could go buy a gun today, but I also got to be like, hey, you know, I probably shouldn't just go spend $1,000 on a gun. And obviously, we're talking back in the 80s, probably wasn't $1,000, but like, it's a couple $100. I mean, these are just high school kids. Steve's using his fucking money from the video shop and from Scoops Ahoy to go, you know, slay demons in the unknown. Fucking,
Right,
come
like-
on, man.
Also, why has nobody brought this like whole dilemma to anybody's attention yet?
I think that the Hawkins, like, secret lab government people were just trying to keep it like hush hush.
I get that, but we're well past that now.
That's fair. I mean,
like they were like, oh, this was an earthquake. Like nobody's noticed the giant volcano pit in the middle of a field.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, also, like, news media and like social media didn't exist, so like it's pretty much local news. Like it's not a big deal out there. They're like, you know, some shit happened, and like, I'm sure if the fucking cops told the fucking reporters, they're like, yeah, this is just what fucking happened. Stay the fuck away. They'd be like, all right, cool.
I want to know what. Also, not the. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I also want to know. I forget his name. The guy that helped Hopper get out of the prison.
Oh, Alexei? No, that's.
No, Yuri was the pilot. I think it was Alexei. I think. If we're wrong, sorry. What happened to him?
I think he got his his
they
happy
all...
ending because he wanted to go see his kid.
Right, but I'm saying they all got back, assumingly because Hopper and Joyce are there. But the car pulls around, it's just them two. They don't tell you what happened to him or Yuri. Like
maybe there'll be like a season 5 like touchback to Russia, or maybe they come visit from Russia. I don't know. It was a very interesting end to the season. You know, again, Steve does not find love, which I thought the whole Jonathan Nancy thing was really fucking awkward.
Yeah.
At the end, like, he just kissed her on the head, and like that was like they kind of hugged ish.
I think she's definitely
she's done with him.
Well, she's definitely gonna end up with Steve in the end. I think.
You hope.
I hope.
It's like the will they, won't they.
But going off of this season,
if you're shipping Nancy and Steve, fucking give us a like, please, because honestly, I'm a huge fan.
Also, like, for all we know, everybody dies next season. It's supposed to be the last season.
That's
saw
fair.
what they did this season. Like,
yeah, they roughed some people up this season. They fucking killed a lot of people.
Yeah, like, they gave you the teaser with Max and then snapped her at the end anyway.
I was super upset about that, how Elle went into her fucking brain and it was just blank. So is she brain dead?
So, my assumption is either one, my theory is she actually is brain dead, like Elle wasn't able to bring her back, but I'm guessing Elle's probably going to stay in her mind and try to, like, wander around. It's kind of like a loading screen for Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Except everything's wet.
She's just running around in the background. But what I think could happen, because like obviously her brother was susceptible to be taken over by Vecna. I wonder if she's now going to become, like, she'll heal, like, physically, but I wonder if she'll become the physical host for Vecna in season 5.
That's fair. I mean, that's definitely interesting. I'm glad they brought Billy back, speaking of her brother. Like, for that one scene where she's, like, freaking the fuck out, and he's, like, trying to bust out of the fucking...
it was the freezer, wasn't it?
No, it was the kiln room. It was hot.
Yeah.
Because fire kills them. So,
yeah,
it was, like, the kiln room for, like, their school's pottery class. But he's in there, and he's trying to, like, break out of the door, and I'm so glad they brought him back. I also did not realize he was the main character from the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
I noticed this after the first season he was in there, but at the time I was like, holy shit, like, he doesn't look anything like him because of the hair and the fucking mustache.
Uma Thurman's daughter.
Yes, Robin is Uma Thurman's. Now, when you fucking hear it, you immediately see it. Without a fucking doubt. The second I heard it, I was like, son of a bitch. It is, it looks just like her. But you don't, you know, you're not thinking about that. But yeah, she's actually really good. I like Robin.
Yeah, I love her as a, like, supporting character. And then there is...
Well, I love her relationship with Steve.
Yeah.
Like, they don't... Like, they obviously know that they're not going to be together, but it's, like, the best guy and girlfriend that you can have.
Yeah. They're the best couple that could never happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I loved a lot of the horror movie callbacks from this season. You had the Michael Myers...
The Mask. Oh my god.
Well, no. At the end with Vecna, when he gets shotgunned out the door and then they go down and his body's gone, that's how the first Halloween movie ended.
I'll say they also had the Michael Myers mask too.
Well, yeah, they brought
with Eddie.
And that's the thing I'm loving about this show is the continuity that they're keeping.
Yes.
They're keeping, like, they're bringing things back from season 1 into this season, from season 3 into this season, like...
Yeah. Susie, we finally get to, like, officially have our, like, you know, true meeting with her and her fucking... So she seems like super proper, but her in Animal House, like, fucking animals.
Dude.
It's a goddamn wild, wild west up in that shit. And I'm cool with it. It was an interesting, like, dynamic that you saw every, you know, her house isn't as perfect as, like, she pretends it is.
Right.
Her I guess, is it, like, a foster home?
I don't know if it's a foster home or she just has that many siblings.
None of them looked anything like I mean, maybe I'm just being me, but, like, I didn't think they all looked alike, but it reminded me, like, Cheaper by the fucking dozen.
Dude, it was just wild. The ones, like, filming, like, a death scene and...
and the other ones are fucking, like, running around like cowboys and Indians. You got, like, the one that Argyle immediately fell for. But, yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I liked the soundtrack to this season as well. Huge fan of that. Go Kate Bush and making your like $2 million in a couple weeks. Good for you. I think that's fucking awesome. Like I'm rooting for
the
that.
following for this show is just absolutely wild.
Yes, if you are a fan of this show, like there's just so much lore to it already, and again, it's a fairly new show. I mean, it's only been around for 6 years, and that's young as far as that stuff goes.
Right, but it's honestly, I mean, it's based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
Like the creatures may not look the way they do, but like
Sure, but it's
all the names, the description, how they act,
Well,
like,
yeah, and
that's apparently all. I
Yeah.
don't play. Sorry,
I mean,
Jason.
I don't either. Yeah, sorry, Jay. Our old host, Jay. This is your one reference. We'll see you on a future episode. But yeah, like, well, we got the D&D references from like season 1,
Right?
Because all the kids were huge D&D fans. Like, they were all the super nerdy kids, and they all played D&D, and that's where like the Demogorgon came from, because that was the character they were fighting in that like campaign of D&D, and then the Demodog obviously came because it's Demogorgon, it looks like a dog.
Right.
And then the Mind Flayer is another, I believe it's another D&D, reference. So again, we're slowly getting
Vecna's another
further
one.
and further in. I guess these are more and more powerful creatures in D&D. But like, that's so cool. And I'm glad they brought that into this. I'm a huge fan of like the 80s style, the 80s music, so that's a big thing for me.
Pretty sure they threw Journey in there somewhere too.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, speaking of music, the one scene that is super funny to me is when they're trying to save Nancy, and they're looking through Eddie's music, and he's
Iron
like,
Maiden.
yeah, he's like, this is music.
It's an Iron Maiden tape.
Which, by the way, if you're an Iron Maiden fan, then you know that Iron Maiden's mascot, his name is Eddie, and kind of looks like Vecna. So, the crazy fan theory, this is my Mephisto theory for this. Eddie might turn into, that. Maybe. I don't fucking know. That would be cool. His guitar solo scene on the roof was, like,
Perfect.
chef's kiss perfect. Like, beautiful, fucking awesome.
Like they reference the guitar in like the first or second episode, and then they just never talked about it again.
No,
the way
but-
they brought it back.
Yes.
Because literally, I'm sitting there watching it, and he's like, "Oh my god, you look even better down here." And I'm like, "Who could he be talking to?" I'm like, "It's his guitar."
Yep.
And then the camera pans and for the reveal, I'm like, "Yes."
I like the him and Dustin thing. They became close friends, and like their immediate growth from like, we just play D&D together and we're kind of cool, to like,
I'm defending you with my life.
the I love you, man. Like that part at the end, which was improvised, loved it. They really did so much to make you love Eddie. Like you said, in the beginning you were kind of like, am I going to like this character? Am I not going to like this character? By the fucking season finale, you were like, God damn it, if Eddie dies, I'm done. It's over.
Dude, I'm literally sitting there watching like the second episode, like the finale. And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, there's 4 groups. They said there was 5 deaths. The doctor's already gone. Or daddy,
Yeah,
Papa, whatever.
Papa.
I was like, Papa's gone. So that's 1. I was like, we have 4 groups. There's 4 more deaths. Why do I feel like we're losing 1 person from each group?
Oh, dude, I was...
And then the more it started going, I'm like, I swear to God, they better not kill off Eddie. And then the more it's going, I'm like,
They're gonna kill off.
I was getting so aggravated because like I knew it was coming and I didn't know like when, because then I was like, oh, okay. And then like Dustin escapes. I'm like, all right, cool, get there, Eddie, because he definitely had enough time.
He had enough time, but I liked his like heroism. When he
Ah.
or the hero, he cut the fucking thing and he's like, no, I'm gonna stay here, fight.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is if the Demobats did get in, wouldn't they be able to just chase them through?
So I don't know what the rules are, because they were in, and you would think I mean,
Like in Russia, the Mind Flayer was alive.
Yeah.
And like that only happens when portals are open.
yeah.
So if that's alive and the Demogorgon's alive, what would stop the Demobats?
It's a fucking good question. I honestly don't know off the
Because
top of my head.
that's the only explanation I can give myself that like doesn't make me angry about them killing Eddie. Is like, all right, he did this because he had to.
Yeah. Well, so I'm confused about it because again, so the Demobats broke in like from the ceiling in the fucking vent,
Right.
and there was like what 50 plus bats that popped in.
Right.
You're telling me one didn't get like, I'm kind of curious. What the fuck's that hole in the ceiling? Like,
But there's a whole swarm outside that
Correct.
eventually would have gotten in.
exactly.
They come in, there's a tunnel, they're just gonna go right through it.
And I was kind of waiting for that too. And then I was like, well, maybe they like Vecna doesn't want them to go through, so like that's why they're not going through. Maybe they wouldn't survive. I don't know. There's like a whole lot of questions here. If you have answers, please let us know.
Or theories, let us know in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. I am, again, 1 to 10. There you go. Here's my question for you. Series 1 to 10. Give me a rating.
Overall or this season?
This season.
This season, absolutely a 11 or a 12.
Okay.
I'll say
Okay.
an 11.
I appreciate the reference.
See what I did there?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It is fucking awesome. The backstory, the adventures that they went on, the new characters they brought in, they made you fall for these fucking characters and then rip the goddamn rug out from under you.
They do it every season. They
Yeah.
make you fall in love with the character, and then they're like, ha, funny, and kill them.
Yeah, not funny. Stop fucking doing that shit, Duffer Brothers. You assholes. Just kidding. I love your shit. But, no, I really, like, overall thought it was perfect. Like, from front to back, it really was perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we cover, if you go back, listen to our podcast, we cover a lot of shows, guys. We cover pretty much everything Marvel that's come out, except for Miss Marvel.
Anything on Disney Plus any full series on Disney Plus that's come out, we've tried to cover it, if not part of it, all of it. We try to do it weekly for you guys.
Yeah.
So if you have any suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Something Super Podcast. We are on Twitter at SS Podcast 52. Keep an eye out. We're working to get a stream going for Twitch. Obviously, we are at Something Super Podcast on YouTube, which is where you're watching us currently. And we're on all of your major streaming platforms. So, Anchor, thank you so much for hosting us, as always. And last but not least, I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And we'll catch you guys next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, and one last thing. So, Mark and I decided that we wanted to do a giveaway. So, yes, now you can see Mark's shocked face. If you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be entered to win a free corksicle of your choice. So if you don't know what that is, Mark, do you mind? So a corksicle is a drinking glass. This happens to be Baby Yoda. This is a TK-421. Mine are all Star Wars related, if you didn't know. R2-D2, BB-8, and C-3PO. So one of your choice. We will have a little bit more information about it in the next coming weeks. We're going to post about it on all of our social media. So, guys, please give us a follow or a subscribe on YouTube. Shoot us a comment. Let us know what you think. We are always here to listen to you and to respond to you. And look out for live episodes in the future. All right, guys, we will see you next week.